All right. Hi, guys. I don't really like the way that Chapter 3 teaches you how to graph, so I'm going to just kind of do it an easier way for you. Today's actually harder, but I want you to get the basics of what's going on, and then tomorrow I'll show you the easy way to deal with it. But if you don't understand what's going on today, you won't see why the easy way works, okay? So I want to give you the basics, the fundamentals here for what's going on first. So we talked about in the last chapter that we were going to solve for y all the time because this was the way that we wanted the equation to look to graph our line easily, okay? And so that's where we're going to start. All right, in an XY chart, I don't know if you guys have ever used it, looks like this, okay? And basically what we're doing is we're creating a system of ordered pairs that we can plot on our graph over here, on our x-axis and our y-axis, right? Okay, and so when I graph this, I always want to do the easiest numbers I can, okay? So the easiest numbers are 0, 1, and 2. I mean, I could plug in -1, I could plug in -2, I could plug in any number I want. But the easiest numbers are always, well, for the graphs that we're going to be doing, are going to be 0, 1, and 2. If we have fractions, then we'll talk about that here in a minute or two, okay? But anyway, how do I figure out what to do then? Well, what's going on is, to find the y value, all I do is I plug those in for x. So if I plug in 0 for x, I get -4, right? Because this is going to be 0, and that's -4, so that's -4. If I plug in 1 for x, that's 2 minus 4, so 2 minus 4, well, that's -2. So now I've got this point, 0, -4, and this point, 1, -2, and now I need one more point. I've got to have 3 points to make a line. So if I plug in 2 for the x, there's the x, 2, and then -4, that's going to be 4 minus 4, that's 0. So that gives me 0, okay? So now we got 3 points we can plot, and if it looks like they make a straight line, we're going to draw our line. So the point 0, 4, 0, -4, on the x-axis is first, that's the 0 part. I don't go right or left because it's 0, but I do go down 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4 would be right there. Okay, now I'm going to erase those little marks I made. Okay, now I got to go to 1, -2, so I'm going to go right 1 and down 2, 1, 2 would be here. Again, I'm going to erase the little marks I made. And then this last point is 2, 0, so 2 over, and then I don't go up or down. Does that look like a straight line? It sure does to me. And there's our first line. Okay? Hopefully you remember how the coordinates work, okay? This is positive, this is negative, this is positive, and this is negative for the xy values, right? Okay? We're going to do some more, so if you're lost a little bit, just keep going. All right, so now, what if we have like a negative number here first? It's not a big or up. Oops. Let's say we've got, come on. Let's say we've got y equals -3x plus 7. Okay, so if I do my xy chart here, I'm still going to plug in 0, 1, and 2. So if I plug in 0, -3 times 0 plus 7, well, that's 0 plus 7. That's pretty much 7, right? So that point is way up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, I did it right. Okay, all right, now, if I plug in 1, -3 times 1 plus 7, well, that's -3 plus 7. That's going to be a +4. So 1, 4 would be right 1, and then 1, 2, 3, sorry about that. 4 up would be right here. Okay. And then if I plug in 2, we've got -3 times 2 plus 7. That's -6 plus 7 is 1. So 2, 1 is our last point, and that would be here. And you can see that makes a pretty good line right there. Okay? Now, we talked about fractions, okay? So if I have a fraction, I'm not going to always pick 0, 1, and 2. I'm probably still going to pick 0, but I may not pick 1 or 2. I may not pick either one of those. I might pick something different. So let's talk what a fraction would look like. So let's say we've got y equals 1/2 x minus 3. Okay, well, when I'm dealing with a fraction, I want to deal with numbers that are divisible by the denominator. So 0 obviously will always work, but if I took 1 times 1/2, is that still going to be a fraction? Yes. So I'm thinking of multiples of 2. So how about 2? If I put a 2 here, does that work? Yes, that cancels. So that makes a 1, doesn't it? So a 2 would work good. So any multiple of 2, or this whatever this bottom number is, any multiple. So if we had like 2/5, I'm picking 0, 5, and the next multiple is 10. Multiples of 5, 0, 5, 10. All right, so the next multiple of 2 is 4, right? So that way it'll work for us. If we had like a third, let's say we had, y equals 1/3 x plus 6. We'd go 0, 3, and the next multiple is 6. The next one would be 9, etc. But we only need 3 points, so we got 0, 3, and 6. Okay? So let's see how this works here. If we continue this, I'm still going to plug in my 0. So y equals 1/2 times 0 minus 3. Well, that's 0 minus 3. That's going to be -3, right? There's our first point. Okay. If I plug in the 2, y equals 1/2 times 2 minus 3. And we said 2 times 1/2 was 1, right? Or think of it half of 2, that's 1. Minus 3, that's -2. So there's our second point, 2, -2. And then if we plug in 4, whoops, I want to change my color. 1/2 times 4. I'm going to put it over 1 just to help out a little bit here. Will the 2 and the 4 reduce? 2 goes into itself once and into 4 twice. Or think of half of 4 as 2. So this is all 2. And then minus 3 is -1. Okay. So my last point is 4, -1. And then we just plot those points. So 0, -3 again would be here. 2, -2 would be here. And 4, -1 is there. So anytime I get a fraction, I just use multiples of that bottom number, multiples of the denominator. Okay? All right, now, a couple other little things here. If you have something like this, these are special ones. If it's just like y equals 3, okay, I can still plug in 0, 1, and 2 for x, right? But if there's no x in there, isn't y just 3 every time? So 0, 3 would be here, 1, 3 would be here, and 2, 3, oh, look at that. It's just that line right at y equals 3, isn't it? Now, x equals is the opposite. If x is 2, well, every time x has to be 2, right? But what can y be? How about 0, 1, and 2? So 2, 0 would be here, 2, 1 would be here, and 2, 3 would be, look at that. Okay, so it's opposite of what you think. Yeah, this is the x-axis, but if I have an x equals line, it's going to be vertical, like this line here. Okay, and y, yeah, that is the vertical axis here, but that line is actually horizontal. Okay, so we're gonna talk about that every day for the next 2 weeks, but just have that in your mind. Okay, now if you end up with one that's in standard form, this is the question on that test that we just did. If I had like 3x plus 2y equals 8, okay, what form do we want to get that in? We want to solve it for y, don't we? Okay, so we're going to want to subtract 3x. And we're going to go 2y equals -3x plus 8, right? We separate these two. They cannot be written together. Okay. And then we have to divide by 2. So y is negative 3 halves x plus 4. So if I was going to go graph this one, I would pick 0, 2, and 4, right? Because I'm doing multiples of 2 here. So if I go, all right, negative 3 halves times 0 plus 4, well, that's just going to be 4, isn't it? Because that's going to be 0. And then if I go, all right, negative 3 halves times 1 plus 4, this isn't going to work out. Or I don't even know what I'm doing. Sorry, guys. I'm supposed to put a 2 here, aren't I? All right, what's going to happen to my 2's? Are they going to cancel? They are. And so I got negative 3 plus 4 is 1. So now I got to plot that point, 2, 1. So I got 0, 4, and 2, 1. Now, if I plug in 4, negative 3 over 2 times 4 over 1 plus 4, this is going to reduce to a 1 and a 2. So it's going to be negative 6 plus 4. That's negative 2. And you could plot those points and graph that line. Okay, that's the easy way to graph functions using an XY chart. Okay, I don't know if it's the easiest way, but it's the basics of graphing using an XY chart. There will be a worksheet for you to work on here, and most of them will be in this form to begin with. Most of the problems will be in this form to begin with. Okay? All right, good luck. My email's on the board if you have some questions. I will try to get to you tonight or Monday night.